The aim of the high is to stay where it is. The aim of the middle is to change places with the high. The aim of the low, when they have an aim and are not distracted or crushed by drudgery, is to abolish all distinctions and create a society that is free and equal. In a world where everybody works short hours, has enough to eat, lived in a house, had a car or even a helicopter, has adequate means and access to any and every health or medical breakthroughs, inequality would disappear. But we've let power remain in the hands of those who can distribute luxuries. And now, goods are produced but destroyed by continuous warfare. War pretty much just seems the act of the destruction of the products of human labour, shattering or sinking materials that would otherwise make the masses too comfortable. Even war machines are a way of human labour power producing something that can't be consumed or bring communities above the poverty line. War eats a surplus that could otherwise feed a population, but it's keeping the hierarchical system in play, because the consciousness of constantly being at war or in danger makes the handing over of power to a small group seem natural. Science and technology had once promised to free us. Machines could be only built to do jobs deemed too unsafe for humans, not for mass factory production, and give every man a chance to work. At the turn of the 1900s, the vision of the future, thanks to science, was going to be a society unbelievably rich, leisured, orderly and efficient, a glittering, clean, antiseptic world of glass and steel and snow-white concrete. Science and technology were developing, and it seemed natural that this would continue developing. But within the first half-century, 2 world wars happened, 3 if you count a war between science and religion, and technology has won. Never has it been as obvious as it is in these times. Technology is our new god. Medicine, electronic communication, space travel, genetic manipulation. These are the miracles we now tell our children about. These are the miracles we herald as proof that the science will bring us the answers. Ancient stories of immaculate conception, mountainous visions and parting seas are no longer relevant, and God has become obsolete. But this has cost every one of us, and it has cost us deep. Science may have eased the miseries of disease and drudgery and provided us an array of gadgets and technology for our entertainment and convenience, but it has left us in a world without wonder. My beautiful sunsets have been reduced to wavelengths of light and frequencies. The complexities of the universe have been shredded into mathematical equations. Even our self-worth as human beings is being destroyed. Created in God's image, science proclaims that planet Earth and its inhabitants are but a meaningless speck in the grand scheme, a cosmic accident. Even the technology that promises to unite us divides us. Each of us is now connected to the globe, and yet, through this we are bombarded with violence, division, fracture and betrayal. Skepticism has become strength. Paranoia, cynicism and the demand for proof have become enlightened thought. Science has even altered and processed the structure of our food and diet, so it's any wonder that humans now feel more depressed and defeated. Science now presumes that it can rearrange our own DNA. It shatters God's world into smaller and smaller pieces in quest of meaning, but all it finds is more questions. The ancient war between science and religion is over, and you have won. But you have not won fairly. You have not won by providing answers. Technology has won by creating and feeding a constant demand for want. Religion cannot keep up. Scientific growth is exponential. It feeds on itself like a virus. Every new breakthrough only opens doors for another breakthrough. For example, mankind took thousands of years to progress from the wheel to the car, yet only decades from the car into space. Now we measure scientific progress in weeks. We are spinning out of control, and as religion is left behind, people find themselves in a spiritual void. We cry out for meaning, and believe me, we do, even I. We see UFOs, we engage in seances, channeling and spirit contact, out-of-body experience, mind quests, sensory perception and deprivation, gemstone scent ritual, crystal healing and dream interpretation. All of these eccentric ideas have a scientific front, but they are unashamedly religious. They are the desperate cry of a modern soul, crippled by its own inability to find enlightenment in anything not distracted or connected to technology. Science, some say, will save us. Science, religion says, will destroy us. Since the days of Galileo, the Church has tried to slow the relentless march of science, sometimes with misguided and manipulative means, but always with humane churchly intent. Even so, the distraction and temptation is too great for young men to resist. Look around you. Watch television. The 19th century promises of science have not been kept. The promises of simplicity and efficiency have bred nothing but pollution and chaos. We are now a broken, divided and frantic species mowing down a path of destruction. And whom is this God particle? Who is a God whom offers his people power, but no moral framework to tell you in which how to use that power? The language of science comes with no signposts or morals about good or bad. Scientific textbooks tell us how to create a nuclear reaction and yet contain no chapter asking us first if this is a good or a bad idea. And the church is tired and exhausted from being your signpost and voice of balance as you plough blindly in quest of smaller chips and larger profits. But science and technology move so fast that if you do stop, even for an instant, to consider the implications or consequences of your action, a company or someone more efficient will whip past you in a blur, so you move forward. You create weapons of pure mass destruction, but it is the Pope who travels the world begging leaders to use restraint. You clone living creatures, but it is religion reminding us to consider the moral implications of this. You encourage people to interact on phones, video screens and computers, but it is the church who opens its doors and reminds us to commune in person as we are meant to do. Again, it is the church who points out reasoning. Some claim that the church is ignorant, but whom is more ignorant, the man who does not understand lightning, or the man who does not respect its electric power? The church has reached out to you, is reaching out to you, will reach out to you in every corner of society, yet the more young men push away. Show me proof there is a God, you say. I say use your telescope too and look to the heavens and tell me how there could not be. Does not good science and great religion point in the same direction? Whether you believe in God or not, you must believe this. When we as a species abandon our trust in a power greater than us, we abandon our sense of outside forces and we become accountable. It's no longer destiny, the will of God, or God's fault if you don't have a God. We're losing a voice of compassion and restraint in a world spinning out of control, and tonight we are perched on a cliff. Our governments have been infiltrated. The restructuring of society is, whether you see this evil as Satan, corruption or immortality, a dark force is alive and growing every day. Do not ignore it. We can step back. It is us who have the power. Because when you start to understand the cryptic metaphors of the Bible, you begin to realize that the Bible is a study of the human mind and that the Bible is encoded with scientific information. The Bible tells us to go and build our temple. You are the temple of God. And when the scriptures are decoded, they make us aware of the power within us and is urging us to harness that power, to build our temple. The second coming is the coming of man. A temple is built in two parts, outer, the holy, inner, the sanctuary. The field of neurology also recognizes this as dura mater and pia mater, the outer and inner cerebral. Like a brain scan taken in the state of meditation or sleep, the brain is unlike anything else in the human body and has an incredible healing effect that can regenerate cells, properties that can be created through the mitochondrion in a deeply focused state. If temple is code for body, is heaven code for mind? By placing your thumbs on each temple, your index fingers will only meet at the fontanelle, the oculus to the brain. Within this triangle is the reticular activating system, responsible for building the picture that you see right now, the pineal gland, responsible for hormone secretion, the amygdala, responsible for regulation of our responses to our environment or challenges, the corpus callosum, responsible for the transfer of data between hemispheres, the brainstem, pretty much responsible for maintaining our consciousness and sleep. Like a prism of light, the visual cortex runs through this triangle to the back of our brain. Does the pineal gland represent the all-seeing eye? The Bible states, when your eye is single, your body fills with light. The chakra, the Hindu dot, the electrical charge of the vagus nerve. Our brains, if used correctly, have been shown to call forth superhuman power. Ancient mystics claimed our minds could generate energy capable of transforming physical matter, like the created becoming the creator. Because in these times, if we learn to harness our true power, we will have enormous control over our worldview. We would be able to design our reality rather than merely react to it. We would be able to make our own luck. But this is also dangerous, and not because it is esoteric. If thoughts affect the world, then we must be careful how we think. Destructive thoughts have influence too, and we know it is far easier to destroy than it is to create. So yes, we have been divided and distracted, like protecting this ancient wisdom from the unworthy and only with the naturally enlightened or the initiated. Science, faith and belief are all one. If I have a guitar and I say to you that you have the capability to make incredible music with it, I am not lying. You do, but you need enormous amounts of practice to manifest it. This is no different from learning to use your mind. Well-directed thought is a learned skill, To manifest intention requires laser-like focus, full senses, and profound belief. This is pretty much just next-level mindfulness, of which some of you is already... And you can even read each other and understand each other. You're lucky Look, today is a result of your attention and your intention. And the more you know, the more you see. Just like playing the guitar, there are people whom have greater natural ability than others, yes, but the power of the human mind grows tremendously with the number of minds that share that one thought. 2 heads are better than one. Prayer groups, healing circles, singing in unison, universal consciousness. I mean, hell, even holding audience with someone on purpose because they're knowledgeable in a certain topic. And today, technology is linking us in ways never imagined, and yet we still demand answers in indifferent religions. By using technology, we have been united, then distracted, then divided, and now our very freedom of information sharing is under attack, and in this chaos, our brains seek order. We seek answers and meaning. We always have. The sound of someone randomly banging on piano keys is unbearable, and yet, if we take those same notes, same instrument, and arrange them in a better order, our brains rejoice. Music. Our muscles relax. Tension evaporates. It is in the same rejoicing in peacefulness and the creation of order that prompts humans to assemble jigsaw puzzles at a young age or straighten paintings on a wall. Where did humans come from? Origin. Where are humans going? Destiny. It is of these fundamental questions and our demand for proof that the human brain has flowed a stem of gap-filling in religious ideologies. Ape to human evolutional transmissions, God creating Adam and Eve, destinations of pristine heavens and fiery hells, reincarnation or sudden awakenings of our true spiritual personality in a distant galaxy. For the human mind, any answer seems better than no answer. We feel enormous discomfort when we are faced with insufficient data, and so our brains in time invent the data, offering us at the very least an illusion of order, so watch out for this. Because in crisis, our brains invent an illusion of order and religious ideology to reassure us until we reach a new age of understanding through the philosophy and disciplines of science and reason, logic and observation, invention and experimentation. NASA, CERN, corruption and hijackings, terrorism. Early humans had a relationship of wonder with the universe, especially with phenomena that they could not rationally understand. To solve these mysteries, our ancients created a vast array of gods and goddesses to explain anything that was beyond their understanding of the time. For early Greeks, high and low tides of the ocean were attributed to the changing moods of Poseidon. To the Romans, volcanoes were believed to be the home of Vulcan, who metalworked beneath the mountains, causing flames to spew out the chimney. Ancient mystics invented countless gods to explain not only the mysteries of our planet, but also those of our bodies in the animal kingdom, drawing constellations in the stars of various gods they represented. Even love was the result of being targeted by Eros. When the ancients experienced gaps in their understanding of the natural world around them, they filled these gaps with gods. Countless gods filled countless gaps, and yet, over the centuries, philosophers, then scientific knowledge increased, and with it, gaps in our understanding of the natural world began to be filled, and gradually our temple of gods began to shrink. When we learned that the tides were caused by magnetic lunar cycles, Poseidon was no longer necessary. We banished him as a myth of an unenlightened time. The same fate befalls all gods whom have outlived relevance of our evolving intellect. Thunder, earthquakes, plague and infertility. But these gods didn't go gently. It's a messy process for a culture to abandon its deities. Spiritual beliefs and our worldviews are etched deeply on us at a young age by those we love and trust the most. Our parents, our grandparents, our teachers and religious leaders in our communities, our friends and our televisions. Spiritual shift has always coincided with wars and bloodshed and ironically pandemics. The once deaths of thousands over fictional stories that now give us an entertaining glimpse into our superstitious past mythology. But things are different now. We are moderns. Or are we? Space exploration, computer chips, medical labs, particle accelerators and soaring aircraft. We are technologically evolved and intellectually skilled. We are nothing like our ancient ancestors, or are we? Our most widespread religions include a whole host of magical claims, but are they our only source of a moralistic compass, our only moral code of wrong and right? So for a moment, Imagine the reaction of humankind's future historians when they look back on our religious beliefs of today and categorize our Holy Quran, Holy Bible and Holy Torah, or the Bhagavad Gita or the Dharma to a dusty bookshelf of mythologies of an unenlightened time. How can terrorism and wars still be waged under the guise of religion in our age of progressivism of crossfire of atheists, Christians, Muslims, Jews, Hindus, Buddhists and nationalists, when the only thing that unites us all is our human brain and its deep longing for peace and order? A new age of enlightenment and collectiveness is imperative, but to plough blindly through an age of technology on the verge of a new world order seems nothing but a war on freedom and progressivism by a weak army of authoritarianism, militarization, anti-liberalism, radical terrorism and national separatism. The traffic light system is here. Travel is highly restricted and domestic passports are here. When you hand over the freedom of information sharing for the condemnation of hate speech and conspiracy theories, you lose both. If our legends are nothing but still relevant soon-to-be myths, and religion remains our only morale or sense of moral compass, we stand to lose both. The war between science and religion is a tool for the war between Labour and National, but globally. You had better start using your brain, because right now, they have a lot of power. Or how do you see the world?